Okay.
There we go. Okay. Okay. So I like what you're saying about the focus part, because I think that focus is like the key to it all. And like, I know like we are just constantly going all the time. And so I was listening to this video on from our new leader conference, and one thing she talks about is like focusing in on your weekend. So she says she does it on Sunday. I do it on Sunday too. Some people like to take Sundays off. Like I know Mandy wants to, she likes to unwind on Sundays and have that pure for her and her husband, which is totally cool. Like I don't blame her. If I did not, I don't know. I couldn't get it all done on Saturday. I try. I think maybe because I probably try to squeeze too much in, and the kids are always like running. But I feel like there's two things that we want to make sure that we're doing every weekend. And so however you do it in your business, I think it sets your week up for success. So the one thing is she's like, block your time. So block your time in knowing like, okay, this is when I'm going to do my power hours. This is like when I'm going to get my workout in. This is when I'm going to meal prep. This is when I have team calls. Whatever that is block your time. And then if you have to break up your power hour, like you and I do, I know we do a lot because we don't have time to sit and do it all, you know, make those times in your schedule. So I got this book. I was listening to a book or a podcast by Melanie Mitro, and I'm not promoting the book. I'm just saying like, I like this because it like gives me like times, you know, like times where I can see like the hours. And so I can break it down. So what I do is I put down like, what are the things that are like my non-negotiables? So like my work meetings, like I put those in there. If I've got to take to dance, like, you know, like those are things I cannot miss. But then I'll put in blue pen for Beachbody Blue, I'll put in like when my power hour is, or when my pocket is, or do I have a call? Clearly I worked way too late and I didn't do it on Thursday, but I'll try to do it the night before, as I'm just trying to get into this routine so that I wake up in the morning, like knowing how my day is going to go. And so for me, I think that maybe Sunday I'm not able to look at the whole week, but I'm able to look at it night by night. So it literally has only taken me 5-10 minutes each night to kind of block that out. So I think that that's important to kind of look at what you're blocking out and blocking that time. And then looking at your social media time for the week. So like, what are you going to post, and having an idea? Because I think that sometimes when you sit down, you just never know what's going to happen, where your mind could be like, I don't even know what to post, but I got to get something up. And then the next thing you know, you spent like 45 minutes trying to come up with, yeah, that totally happens to me. And I'll be like, oh crap, I lost, like an hour, and I got post up and like 3 stories. And now I got to go get, now I got to go grab Maddie, or I got to go get tied into bed, or I got to do whatever. So it's so easy to lose that track of time. So at least if you have some idea of what some of your stories are going to be. So like, for an example, I know that like right now, if you look at my Instagram page, every 5 pictures, I do a quote. Okay. So I know then every 5 pictures. So if you look at my Instagram.
Hang on, I'm switching from phone to computer.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Let's see. Video. There we go.
There we go. Okay, so I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but when you pull up on my feed, every 5 pictures, there's like a quote.
Mm-hmm.
So then when I look at my social media for the week, and I didn't do it in this book, and I'm feeling that pain this week, then I'll put in there like what I'm going to do. So if I know that I'm going to post twice a day, then I know that I'll go like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then, on my whatever picture, I know that's going to be a quote. So I can do my quotes at the beginning of the week on WordSwag easily. So those are boom, ready to go, right? So then I fill in my blanks. So maybe Monday it's just motivation. Maybe it's like, starting the week right. Like I already know that Monday's going to be like jet lag for me because I'm going to be from dance comp, lack of sleep, but I know I'm going to show up Monday morning. So that's like what my Monday morning post is going to be. So it doesn't have to be like written out, but it could be where I know what I'm going to do. So, and I have to map it out, but let's just say Monday would be my, my Monday morning, happy Monday, new week. I know I'm dead tired, but I show up for me type of thing. Monday night might be something where maybe I'm going to post like from Maddie's weekend, like, oh my gosh, I'm, trying to get caught up in life. I'm so proud of this girl. She did such an amazing job. Excuse me. Tuesday, like, so you can kind of like map out what you're going to do. So maybe in there, if you do your meal plan and you're trying a new recipe, you can put that in there. If you have an idea about your meal plan in general, you can post, how happy it is. Maybe it's about Liliana loving one of your new recipes and you show her, you know what I mean? Or maybe it's one that she enjoys and it's a kid approved meal. That kind of stuff, if you plan out when you're going to put it, they're real easy to post. And then if you're like, okay, like Wednesday nights is small group, right? So then maybe you're like, I'm going to already have my post ready to go and I'm going to make that. You could create that and put it in your notes. So that's a copy paste ready to go. You don't have to really worry about it as you're like trying to get the kids home from school and trying to get them homework and trying to get dinner on and then trying to get out the door. So I think like those kinds of things will really help. Like when you're prepping for your week, that's going to help take a lot of the pressure of a lot of the stuff off your plate, because then when I sit down, I can just focus on inviting. I can just focus on connecting. I can just focus on sharing. So I think that those are two things that it's so easy to get caught up in the they call them the non-IPAs, income producing activities. So you want to spend the time you have on your income producing activities. And really what you want to look at each month is just your basics. How many times, and they talk about that, like basics is going emerald. Hey, girlfriend. I don't know if she can hear us. So the basics is just going emerald, going emerald, going emerald, going emerald. So adding 2 coaches, because when you go emerald, you're taking your business to the next level. So how many times you're going emerald, you want to think about that each month. How many times am I going to go emerald this month? What's my goal for the number of people I want to help serve this month? And who am I most excited to serve? Because then if you know who you're most excited to serve, then you can reach out to them so much quicker. So
I like how you said it. You do like how you said you do your power blocking, and maybe I told you, but I bought the 5-second journal from Mel Robbins. Even though it was on back order from Amazon, and that's what she does. So like, this is not my actual journal, but this was like a free. Anybody can get this free template from her website. You could print them out, or this one's actually knitted if you wanted to like laminate some. You could use dry erase.
nice.
And then this side is like you fill out every morning, and then this side is blocked for like every hour. So you can each day. And this actually, I've done it for probably 2 or 3 weeks now, and I really like it.
That's awesome.
I think I do need to, like the main things, like I pick up Evan every day at 2, and I pick up Elena at 3. I need to put those things in the night before, because it kind of takes up more time than I prefer in the morning.
Yeah, for sure. And then that, right? And so it could even be, so then like in between taking them, maybe that's when you do like your affirmations for yourself, right? So like those are things you're like running through your head, because you can do that in the car. You can put them on a piece of paper while you're waiting in car line, or while you're waiting to go pick them up. You can do all those kinds of things. Or you're listening to PD. That's a great time to get in some extra stuff that you don't have to be sitting down to do, but you know that you've got to get those 2 items done, and you can add in those extra things. I think that helps. It also helps us in our mom mind, you know what I mean? To kind of like slow down and think about, okay, those are things that are, I don't have to worry about what's going on and how I'm going to get them done, and how am I going to get things done around the non-family negotiables that you have to do for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the other thing I wanted to share really quickly was like, before you like sit down, I listened to this in a call today, and I was like, this is gold. Like, I totally want to implement this. And she talked about, one is taking 2 minutes before you get started, and you just find that state of gratitude. So like if you know it's time to sit down and do invites, like sit down and just do 2 minutes of state of gratitude. So throw an alarm, a timer on your phone, and whether that's praying, whether that's jamming out to music, whether that's listing all the small things that you're grateful for the day, taking the 2 minutes and really just honing in on that. And then that allows you to walk into your invites with that gratitude and that filled heart so that you can reach more people. And so like one of the things that I do a lot is, and I realized this like later thinking about it in the car today, was like, I already oftentimes pray, dear Lord, help me to find the people that need my help and help me to find the words that will help them. Whether that's, and that to me doesn't necessarily mean to sell them or to get them as a challenger. It could just be to cheer up their day. It could just be to be on their side. It could just be to show them that I am loving them today. So I think that the 2 minutes of gratitude and thinking about where you're at really gets your heart and your mind in the right spot. And so the other day, after I heard that, I did that, and then I threw my AirPods in, and I was jamming to music while I was like messaging people, and I just felt like this groove, like I can just rock this out. So I think that that's so helpful to think about that. And then she also talks about doing voice messages. One, your voice messages are going to go by so much faster than the typing, and it's so much better than a copy paste because they're going to hear that inflection in your voice. They're going to hear that excitement that you have.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. After the lesson I learned this week I think there is definitely something to be said about doing a voice message because I heard somebody say once, like, anytime you read email, you read it angry. Like,
yeah.
Most people don't send emails angry, but when you read an email, you think you're like, I'm reading my email, like.
Yeah.
And I think tone and people hearing our voices is everything. So
yeah, I would
valuable lesson.
Yeah, I agree. Because you just never know, like, what state of mind are they in, right? Like, you have no idea, their son just could have failed his math test. They could have gotten bad news about their mom. They could, just spilled coffee all over themselves. I mean, you just never know. So it's really good that I think that,
Yeah.
I love that and the other thing too about voice messages, it helps you build that confidence each and every time. And I oftentimes when I'm doing messages, like sometimes I'll close my eyes and visualize I'm talking to like my best friend, the girl that will never, look at me like I'm crazy, right? She's going to be like, oh my gosh, I love you. You are amazing. You know what I mean? Like, and so I do that a lot of the times because I'll be like, and then I can hear myself laughing. I can feel the smile in my heart. And they can feel that and see that too. So that makes a huge difference. And then anything you can do to put in your confidence bucket, it's like tenfold. I'll do it again and again and again because I think that makes a huge difference. So I love depositing in my confidence bucket anytime I can. So, okay. So what I thought we would do tonight is that, one other thing I was going to tell you, if you know that you're running like all day, so this was what I did for yesterday. And then of course we had the, social media apocalypse. I completely wrote down 10 people. No, I wrote down 20 people I wanted to invite to. And I wrote down, I didn't even count these, but these were all the people I wanted to follow up with. So then that way I could put this in my purse, right? And if I was in the car, I could mark them off super fast because I knew I was going from meeting to meeting yesterday. It just never happened because it was down from the time I could start doing that. So if you have a good plan of like who to hit, so I'm going to try to get back into Streak, but I had this notebook, right, that had all these people in it and they're highlighted and but to go back through and to figure that out. So what I did was that night before when I was prepping for my next day was I was like, okay, I'm going to go through this book and I'm going to write them all down. So then it's an easy 1, 2, 3. And so all I have to do is find them in my messages and then send them the message, mark them off next. And I can just go down instead of taking the time to find them, remembering what I need to talk to them to, you know, I have it all right here on my sheet. So I think that that's kind of a good thing. And then of course, you know, staying on track and tracking who you need to be. So I love this book because it actually has, I don't necessarily track my invites anymore, and I'll tell you what I do here in a second, but this gives me my customer hot list and my business hot list. So anytime I invite and I'm starting to talk to people who are like, yes, I'm interested, or I want more info, then I'll put them here, and then I'll highlight them if I have gone more than just the initial info, you know, would you be interested in hearing more deets about it? I'll put them here. So, and then I'm going to eventually be tracking to put them up in my streak. But because I'm just always going, and I don't always have my computer with me, especially for dance comps, I'm going to have to go off on my phone. So it's going to be easy for me to throw my book in my backpack and go than it will be to have my computer and do my follow-ups. So one thing I've done on Instagram is create a follow-up collection. So if they've said that they're interested, I'll just throw them in a follow-up collection. So then it's very easy for me to go back in and follow up with those in the collection. They're just saved right there.
Good idea.
So those were a couple of things I kind of wanted to share with you too.
Do you have the Cleaner app for Instagram?
I don't, because on 21 Social, they I have the bigger package, and they're pretty much like, don't get any third-party things on your Instagram because we're really working in there. So they work into the limits of my Instagram. So I have to be cautious to not do anything to mess it up, because it'll throw me in Instagram jail if I do too much.
Because I was looking it up, and I looked up Cleaner for IG or Cleaner for Instagram, and there were two that came up. I was just curious which one it was. One has just a straight up trash can. The other one has, there's like 4 little icons on it.
I think when I did use it, Sheena, I think that's the one I did it. The 4 icons.
One?
Yeah.
The 4 icons? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because one's called Cleaner for IG, and the other one's called Cleaner for INS.
Yeah. No, I did the 4 icons.
Okay. So since I just have the $10 STEM Social, should I get that? The Cleaner?
I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, when you use STEM Social, how important is it to use the, I think they call it the whitelist. Do you ever put people in the whitelist that?
Yeah, I did. When I was on it, I did use the whitelist because I would find that sometimes STEM would follow people and I'd be talking with them and then they'd unfollow. So when I would then follow back up with them, what I found was that I was unfollowing them all of a sudden. And I'm like, oh crap. You know what I'm saying? So what I ended up doing, hey girlfriend. So what I ended up doing was putting them on the whitelist. So that way STEM did not unfollow them and I could still follow up with them. But if it ever did happen, a lot of times I'd be like, oh my gosh, I do my business in the evening. So if I hit to message you, I think I accidentally hit unfollow. That's what I would say. And people are like, oh, it's okay, no problem. Yeah, they totally understood. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and I'll just kind of chalk it up to like, I needed to go to bed. Sorry about that type of thing.
The buttons are so small.
I know. I fat fingered it. Sorry. Okay. So what I thought we'd do is take 2 minutes where you can just kind of get your mind in the right location so that we can think of gratitude. So whether that's prayer or jam out to some music or whatever to kind of get yourself in the groove of things. And then we will go into, we'll go into just the basics I want to do tonight since it's already 8:30. We'll do connections, and then we'll do invites, and then we'll do follow-ups. And what I do when we do invites, I want to say like, let's throw a timer on for invites and let's just see how many you can knock out. Because that's one thing Ashley McClellan talks a lot about is like throwing on a timer and just rocking it out. Like saying, okay, my goal is to hit, I'm not the fastest if I don't have a list to go off of. So having a list helps me so much. And I think that we're going to find that, especially because the three of us, and I know everybody is, whether you work or you're a stay-at-home mom, like you're just busy. Life is just cray, right? Or whatever. If you have a list, you know exactly what you're going through. And I think that's the key, is organization. So, but if you set a timer, like Ashley McClellan can get through the entire Power Hour in like 22 minutes, like crazy, right? So that means that she's like intentional busting it out. So I thought we could work off of timers tonight and kind of go that way. So I'm going to set 2 minutes, kind of just get yourself in the right momentum, think whatever you need to think, and we'll go from there. I'm going to set it. I'm just going to mute myself. Okay. All right. So 2 minutes is in. So let's do, let's see. I think this, I don't know if this will cut us off, but let's try, I know we're supposed to do 20 minutes of connections, but let's do 8 minutes because I want to just make sure we get it all in. So let's do 8 minutes of connections. I'll set the timer and just see how many connections you can get in, either connections or follows, whichever one you prefer to do right now. And then I always tell people the best way to connect is stories. You can whip through stories in no time and talk to people, and those are the people that are the most engaging. So we'll do 8 minutes, okay? All right, let's rock it. Okay, sorry. Had a small work call. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, we've got like 10 minutes. So let's do 8 minutes of invites and see how many you can bust out and then count them. Okay, so we'll count your invite numbers and then let's go from there. Because then what we'll do is we'll do like kind of end it and I'll give you like a couple of follow-ups to do after we're done. If you can finish up for your power hour. I know I'll have to come back to it and finish up my power hour tonight. So, but invites are the key, right? That's the bread and butter. So let's try to see how many we can bust out in 8 minutes and then we'll go from there. Okay, so that was 8 minutes. And somehow we have like less than a minute, so we will hop off. But what I want to do is get your follow-ups in. And then I only got 8 invites out, so I got to work on that. So I'm going to work on getting my last of my 20 invites out. But I hope this helped. And I'm going to start to do these more often, especially for us in the end of the night, so that we can end up rocking it out. And then that way, if you have any questions about things that are going on, you can always ask too. So, okay, I'm going to take a quick pick. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. And then I'll send it out to the group, okay?
Thanks,
Awesome, guys. Yeah, for sure. You guys have a good night, and we'll talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, hon.